This is what's nice about having all your filtration in your basement. You got all the space that you need, even if you don't have that much money to put in your aquarium like I did when I first started. Just use, Rubbermaids and put them down below the tank. It's real cheap and works. But now I got these aquariums here set up as my sump. I know I couldn't fit this below my tank, but down in my basement it's much easier. I don't have to worry about keeping everything compact. I have all the space that I need to test my water and have all the filtration that I need. And I'm going to be upgrading to a 100-gallon tank. So I'm going to bring my 55-gallon tank downstairs here and use that as my sump. And I'll still have plenty of room to do an algae scrubber. And I'm going to get two 50-gallon trash cans for my DI water now. I only have one over there now. But I'll show you guys my setup after it's done, after hooking up and installing my 100-gallon tank. My anemone, once I put the LEDs in, it kept moving around the tank too much. So I made him a little nano tank. And he's real happy in there. All I did was, that's just regular window glass that I just made my little square tank, and it's just an overflow tank. And the water comes from my main display tank, my 55-gallon, and just siphons into the little nano tank. And then down below, it's just a trash can lid with a hole in it, and the water overflows down back into the basement. So even though it's a little tank, I don't have to worry about anything in it because all the water is through my filtration on my big tank. So anemone's growing real big in it, and everything's doing good. I wanted to show you guys how I supplement and how I keep the cost down on my aquarium. I do pretty much everything myself, and now I use a 2-part supplement, and it works out much easier than what I have been doing with Kalkwasser. So I got this off bulk Reef supply. It's just calcium chloride, and you mix that into a gallon jug, and then you just supplement the calcium and the alkalinity every day, just a little bit of it. For my calcium, I use 20 milliliters of calcium once a day, and then the same with my alkalinity, and my calcium stays above 400. And then I just use regular baking soda, mix that into a gallon jug of DI water, and supplement for my calcium. So then the only thing I supplement is strontium, and it has also the molybdenum, and I think it has, also has magnesium chloride in it. So that's how I supplement strontium and magnesium. And then for my trace elements, I use the Kent Marine, and that has all the trace elements, so I don't do any water changes ever. My algae scrubber keeps my nutrients down, so I don't have to do any water changes. And it keeps all the algae out of my aquarium up here. The only thing I have for algae in here is all the calcareous algae that grows on my glass. As you can see, it's completely covered all 3 sides of my glass. But I don't mind it. It doesn't look too bad. And then to keep the cost down, I just use whatever I have. Like this tank here, I got it off Craigslist for $100. The only thing you gotta watch out for when you buy a used tank, when you're using it for Reef Aquarium, is some people say that if they use copper to treat for fish disease in freshwater tanks, it'll seep into your silicone and even the glass, So you just gotta make sure you clean it good with vinegar and rinse it out well before you start your reef aquarium. Some people say it'll leach out and kill stuff in your aquarium, but I don't see how that would happen. I mean, it might leach out trace amounts, but there's actually trace amounts of copper in our salt mixes and in our trace elements that we supplement for our reef aquarium. So as long as it's not more than just trace amount of copper, it won't harm your invertebrates or your corals. So just make sure if you buy a used tank off Craigslist, just rinse it out well. This is with the blue LEDs on.